Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR and AR. And I'm super excited for today's show because we have two amazing guests. First of all, hello, Erik Hartley. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Sebastian?
I'm doing really well too. And for all of you who don't know Erik, Erik is an absolute industry insider, meta insider, and he has really the best connections in the industry. And I'm happy to meet him at all the events, and it's always nice to meet him. Erik, so stoked to have you on the show. Also, super happy to have Simplex here. Łukasz, how are you doing?
Hi, Sebastian. I'm glad that you have invited me on the show.
Of course, man. I love you to be on the show. And yeah, for all of you who don't know Simplex yet, Simplex is a VR enthusiast, also industry insider in Poland, and having the best and biggest and only Polish VR podcast called
M Quadrat.
M Quadrat. Okay, what does it mean? Like M to the power of 2 or
exactly.
M squared or?
M squared, yes, because it's a very short, I just tell it quickly the story. It has nothing to do with virtual reality. It was founded by two guys whose names started with M, you know,
I like it.
And they made it like that, and then I joined them, and I took it over. So
okay, cool,
peacefully.
Great. And now, yeah, that's always a good thing to do. And yeah, and now you own the VR podcast of Poland. I love it. Yeah, I would totally come to your show as well if you do one episode in English.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, yes, I will do. So I can invite you already.
That would be
Both
cool.
of you.
That would be amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. And I'm also here. My name is Sebastian Ang. I'm the founder of MRTV and the host of the Next Dimension podcast. For all of you who are new here, this podcast streams live every Saturday at 9 p.m. London. No, that's wrong. 9 p.m. Berlin, 8 p.m. London.
And Warsaw.
And Warsaw, that's correct. Noon in San Francisco and 3 p.m. in New York City. And you can listen to it also as an audio podcast everywhere where you can find podcasts. And if you love this show, you should absolutely give us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, everywhere where you can rate us. That really helps us, and that would make other people find this amazing podcast. So that would be really cool. So today we have a really exciting show, in my opinion. And, well, we are going to talk about Bonelab, of course, the big release last week that everyone was looking forward to. And, I played it through. And I know Erik as well. Erik actually helped me, honestly speaking. Yeah. So thanks to Erik for helping me get through this. That was really really needed and really great. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Bonelab. Then we're going to talk about hardware, of course. We're going to talk about Pimax. I didn't put it into the description. I forgot it, but it came back to my mind. We are going to talk about Pimax because the Pimax Crystal, their enthusiast, high-end, super high-resolution headset, standalone headset, it is going to launch, actually. And I must tell you guys, I'm pretty stoked about it. So this is what we're going to talk about then. Then we had another fantastic leak from Bradley. And yeah, this was a huge leak, right? We saw the Quest 3, and according to the CAD files, we could learn what the headset could do and could probably not do, like face recognition and eye tracking. So I was surprised about this, and I'm looking forward to find out what Erik and Simplex think about this omission, and also in general about what Meta is going to do to fight Pico. So this is another huge topic. The Pico 4 is launching here in Europe and in some Asian states, Asian countries. And I have it since yesterday. I didn't sleep yesterday because I was working on that hands-on video, the 30-minute video that hopefully you all watched out there. I put lots of effort into it, and I like it now. I'm happy that people also enjoy it, I think. Yeah, so we are going to talk about the Pico 4, what it can do. You can ask me all kind of questions, and we are going to talk about Pico and the meta in general. And we're going to find out if we think that Pico has a shot at glory in this very exciting market that we are all such big fans of. So that is going to be really good. Yeah, so before we go into the topics, let's talk about our last week. So in general, Erik, how was your last week like, VR-wise?
It was good. Lots of things have come out, actually. I played Bonelab, which we're going to talk about a bit more, but I also played something called World Flight, which is a very stripped down, targeted to Quest flight simulator. What's cool about it, though, is it actually has Google Maps integration. So you can take off and land at whatever airport, similar to Microsoft Flight Simulator, from anywhere in the world. And it's got, for example, here, I flew from San Francisco International Airport. It's got fog effects. It's got rain. It's got all the different weather, atmospheric conditions. It's really cool.
Sounds pretty interesting. But how does it look? I mean, if you think about like a Quest, right?
It looks simple. Like a Quest App Lab game, unfortunately, but it plays really well.
So what was the title again? Flight what?
World Flight.
Okay.
Interesting. So it's something that you can recommend?
It's early. I will say that. I don't necessarily know that I would pick it up today, but it's interesting. I like the direction that they're going in with it. It also has helicopters, which I don't think are in a lot of flight simulators at this point.
Okay. Are you a Microsoft Flight Simulator fan?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, this is so good, right? I love the game. It's fantastic, and I want to spend more time in it, but it's a time-sucking app, right? It's just like it takes too long to put all the time into it.
Yeah, and the other game I played was Crisis Brigade 2. Which it's been out for a while, but it's now on the Quest storefront. And they redid a lot of the effects and added some explosions and action sequences to make it more Time Crisis-like.
You know what? I really enjoy this game. Even though it's simple, but probably because of its simplicity. It's just like cool, fun action, right? Yeah. You don't have to think about it like in Bonelab sometimes. You can just go in and just shoot and have fun. And yeah, I like it. I truly like it.
Is the second part as hard as the first one?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Hard, tough as nails. I heard it's like very hard.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Erik, when is the next time that we're going to meet each other? Vegas?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I will be there. So Vegas in January for CES.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it. Perfect. Yeah, Vegas is always a nice place to go. I really enjoyed it every single time. It's cool. It's crazy and cool. And then CES, right? It's just such a great show, not just for VR, but even for VR. There's quite a few things that you can find. Probably we're going to play the Pimax 12K for the first time then. And I'm looking forward to it, to meet you and to check out all the stuff. And then when you're finished with VR, you can check out all the other cool tech stuff, right? Because we are not just VR enthusiasts, right? We are techies. Like, right, Erik, you also like all kind of other tech, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing that's interesting about CES in general is you kind of get to see not just what's current, but what people are working on for the future. So we got to see really early Pimax stuff with pancake lenses, with 4K displays, and everything that kind of eventually moved into the Pimax 4, or I'm sorry, the Pico 4 rather.
Right.
And so with the Pico device that we tried, I think it was the Pico G3 prototype or something of that nature. It was like a little
thin one.
Glasses, basically.
Yes,
yeah.
I tried it as well there. Yeah.
And that technology has led to things like the Pico 4 and future devices, probably.
Exactly. The form factor that we saw there, it was absolutely amazing, right? Even better than this. And this is already so good right now. We're getting to this ski mask kind of like form factor. But that was more like sunglasses form factor.
It was.
But I can remember, I think it was only 3DOF, right? It was something like Oculus Go at that point in time.
It didn't have any type of tracking. So, like, I know that those tracking cameras, you can't really fit those into glasses yet.
Yeah, right. So, CES it will be, Erik. I'm looking forward to be back in the States, obviously, like always. Yeah, cool. And Simplex, tell us more about your week. What excited you in VR last week?
I played Bonelab for a very short time, but I was really impressed. Okay. And also, I played old game called Survive. I don't know if you heard. Like, it's Survive, but the I is in 1 and E is a 3. So Erik nods. It's like a zombie survival game, but it has co-op.
I tried it too.
It's a bit janky, but if you play with, I played with my 2 friends in co-op, so it was fun because like you can cover yourself. Like one person shoots, the other person like carries something. It's quite atmospheric. There's this like American city. It's dark. Zombies are everywhere. It's nice.
Nice.
It was fun.
Cool. What is at the moment the VR headset of your choice?
Index all the way.
Okay, yeah, it's a great headset still.
Yeah, I have Quest 2, of course, and I also have PSVR, but Quest 2 with Airlink is too much junk for me, like too much problems. Something can happen. There's lag. You're wireless. I also live in like a block of flats, which is a thing in Poland, and I live like in a huge. It's like a project. You can call it a project. Yeah. Right. So I have like 50 wireless networks, in my block.
Same here.
So I can't even have good experience because it's interference all the way. So
you have to ask Guy Godin. He's in the chat right now. What to do about it? You need to use virtual desktop. Probably that will make it a better virtual.
I will use virtual desktop on Pico definitely.
Right. Like everyone.
I should probably fire an EMP device.
Yeah, to get rid of all the other Wi-Fi networks. I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just use the 6 gigahertz band.
Yeah, yeah, but I have 6 gigahertz router, but it's not 6E. 6E is a different band, but 6 is still on the. I think 6 is still on the old band,
same,
right?
5 gigahertz. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not helping, sadly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Simplex. And how often do you have your Polish podcast? Is it also like a weekly affair, like
every
here?
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Yeah, that's more relaxed, probably. I was also thinking about it for this podcast because not every week there's so exciting topics.
Exactly.
Right? Let's see how to do it. And do you also have like a team of recurring hosts, or do you do it alone, or how do you do it?
I managed to grab a team. One of them was actually just greeting us in the podcast. So I have like 2 to 3 people that record with me.
Okay,
so
great.
It's fun. And sometimes I invite guests, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is the Polish VR scene? Is it the same like in Germany? No, you can buy the Quest, right? Like in Germany, we cannot buy the Quest,
Quest is very popular here now.
Okay,
lots of people have it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Of course, makes sense. Like everywhere in the world. Yeah, but this might change very soon. So that's what we're going to talk in the later part of the show. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Simplex, for telling us about your week and your podcast. But this is not your main job, right? The VR thing.
No, of course not. I mean,
not yet.
But I have like almost 800 subscribers on my channel, so I think for a Polish, VR podcast, it's quite. I think it's decent.
Okay,
I mean, it's about VR and it's in Polish.
Yeah, so right. So if we have any,
how more niche can you get?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So if we have any Polish subscribers or listeners here, go to find Simplex's podcast. M Quadrat.
Yeah.
M Quadrat. Okay,
you pronounced well.
Great.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Yeah, okay, cool. And yeah, for me, let me tell you about my week. It was 2 things. First, it was Bonelab, because I had the ambition to make a real review of the game, because I did get it earlier. That was amazing, right? And so it's like a privilege that I can get it. And I thought like, hey, it would be, not the right thing just to play it for half an hour or so and then to talk about the game, because I know like those devs, they spend so much time on it, right? The devs spent like the whole 2 years of COVID working on that game. Right. And then I get it like a bit earlier. As one of the few people, I have the feeling I should at least like really understand it. So I spent like 3 days, over 3 days I played it through. Again, thanks to Erik. And yeah, then I did my review. And actually I heard quite a few people who said like, Sebastian, thank you for that review. Without that review, I wouldn't have known that the game actually only starts when you reach that bone hub that we're going to talk later about. Yep, so there was lots of work, but also fun. And then I received the Pico 4 yesterday. Yeah, and then I was just working. And made my first hands-on that you have probably watched. And yep, that was my week. So lots of VR work, but exciting. I'm happy that I can do this kind of work. It's perfect. And now I'm looking forward to talk with you about these amazing topics. I love to talk with nice people about these topics, since we're also excited about VR, right? So it's just like an amazing atmosphere and a good feeling to talk about it. So let's start with Bonelab. Let's start with Bonelab. Let's have a look at some video footage of the game. So let me share my screen with you. Here it is. And here we go. And yeah, let me just play it. So here, this is from YouTube. And let's talk about Bonelab. So let me give our audience some background. Bonelab is the successor of Boneworks, which came out in 2019. And Boneworks was already quite a sensation at that time, because the exciting thing about this game is and was that, it's so special with its physics. So it's a shooter, but you can like interact with everything just as you could in the real life, and also with all the weapons. The weapon handling is out of this world. So yeah, like you just saw here, you can use the sledgehammer to close doors or just to do anything. The interaction with the world was simply outstanding with Boneworks. And well, also Boneworks, I played it through. Really cool. Super enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite VR games for a long time. Now, we heard from the team that they had been working on a Quest 2 version. Not of Boneworks, but of a game that would play in the same universe. And it's called Bonelab. And then we didn't hear from it for quite a long time. But then suddenly, like I think probably like a week or 2 weeks ago, suddenly we got the gameplay trailer, or where Brandon Larch, the developer of it, he showed the Node some gameplay footage, and it just looked spectacular. It was just the same universe where everything is super physical, right? You can touch everything and everything works as normal, but you have a new kind of thing that you have now different avatars that you can change on the fly, at least in that gameplay trailer. You would like pull some line from your arm, and then you can choose different avatars, and they have different kind of features, like there's a strong one or a tall one or a fast one and so forth. And then you would choose these avatars to solve certain problems. So that looked really interesting. And then it came out now. And on Quest 2 and on PC VR. And it's pretty amazing to get such a game onto the Quest 2 with that mobile processor. And I can tell you, all the physics, everything works just as well as in Boneworks from the PC. It was just like the whole magic that I felt. I also felt it in the Quest 2 version. Very, very noteworthy. So it came out now, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we thought about the game. And okay, now we have advertisement here of YouTube that we don't want to see it. Let's ask Erik. First, tell us what you thought about Boneworks in 2019,
Sure.
and then tell us about what was your feeling when you started Bonelab.
So Boneworks, first of all, was only on PC VR, I believe.
Right.
So we didn't have the experience of a standalone version at that point. I think the way that I would describe it is the janky physics simulator. It was one of the first real physics sandbox games. I know a lot of other ones have come out since then. Blade and Sorcery is another one that's really popular at this point. But this one had the hallmarks of a title that gave you a lot of freedom, essentially, to play the game however you wanted to. And then you could build what you wanted to afterward within, like, you could build your own stories, essentially, within that game. So it was a really good concept, and it also, in a lot of ways, reminded me of Half-Life because of the way that they have their almost head crabs and their almost
right.
combine.
You're absolutely right. They
Erik,
look
throughout
very
the
similar.
game. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, because there are all those rumors that it was supposed to be a Half-Life game in a Half-Life universe. Do you think there's any credence to it, or it was just?
I will say that they did have support from Valve throughout the development of Boneworks, but Valve was working on Half-Life Alyx alongside that, so I don't know that there was ever an actual plan to make it a Half-Life game, but they did certainly have endorsement and support from Valve back then.
Yeah, because I heard some like very crazy tinfoil hat, great conspiracy theories that actually they were supposed to work on Half-Life game, and then like Valve betrayed them and made Alyx, and they had
I
to
don't
like
think so.
pivot. But
No, that didn't
like
happen.
a tinfoil hat,
No,
like
no,
I'm
no.
saying.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like have someone credible, like nip
Yeah.
it in the bud, like
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah,
officially publicly say it's like bull crap.
yes, it is.
Yeah. Bonelab, the first thing I do want to mention is this game actually made me feel pretty uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. The opening scene is
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
is really not one I want to relive. But then even after that, this one really pushes the limits with artificial motion throughout the game. There's a scene in an elevator, for example, where it kind of just throws you up into the air. Later, there's a full-on almost roller coaster in the game that feels like a roller coaster, but you're not moving. So it's a pretty physical game is what I would say, even if you're sitting or standing in one place.
Absolutely. And let me add to this. It feels like the developers don't care.
Right.
They don't hold you by the hand, and or let's say it in a different way, they don't give you any comfort options. Of
Right.
course, they could have given us comfort options like a vignette or probably not the teleport. No, they wouldn't fit into the game. But it seems like they simply didn't want to do that. It feels like, for me, this game is for complete VR enthusiasts that simply subscribe to the idea, I'm there, and okay, everything is as realistic as possible, and that's it. Go, take it, love it, or hate it. We don't care, right? This kind of attitude.
And they also made it hard to play. It
Yes,
almost
yes,
felt
yes.
like it almost felt like an escape room multiple times, where you have to solve not intuitive puzzles, and even in solving some of those puzzles, the puzzles break. I don't know if you had this experience, Sebastian, but there's a puzzle with a crane game.
Yep. The thing,
And-
the remote was gone.
Yeah.
For you too?
Yeah.
For me too.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Yeah.
So I had to replay the game, that part.
And that's
This must
pretty
be a
early on
bug.
in the game, but it almost discourages you from finishing the game. It's a weird feeling.
Totally agreed.
There's a comment from Technological Glitch who says, "Who else thought you had to climb the rope like the news?" I did.
Yeah.
I spent
Yeah.
5 minutes like
I was
dangling
trying.
there.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out ways to
Catch this.
not put it around my neck.
Oh, okay. I thought that I have to like swing myself, like forward and back until I'm far enough to grab the dagger. After 5 minutes of like flailing around, I realized that I can probably force pull it.
Yeah.
And I felt stupid. But the game should tell you something, like this would be a hint, because they only teach you once that you can force pull this dice in the beginning, and then nothing.
But even the dice, I was standing there and I was thinking, okay, what now?
What am I supposed to do? Right? Me too.
But because I didn't know yet.
Yes.
That I need to press the trigger and the grip to get stuff. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I can remember in 2019, they also had like this tutorial where you also have to force grab stuff. And I was also there stuck because also I didn't know that I need to do both.
Yeah.
Like
it confuses me that you don't just use the grip.
Help us more. Yeah, stress level 0. Like we don't know your game as good as you know, right? So just give us a little hint. Just teach us. Okay, please here grip and.
It's like
trigger.
with the comfort options. Like vignette is the simplest things they could add. Like, what does it hurt them to have vignette as an option? Like, why not have it? Like, are you like?
I totally agree with you. It really just feels a bit like, you know what? We don't need it. We don't care. Just this little Valve attitude.
Yeah.
Like, we can do it if we want, but we don't want.
Yeah, but actually, Valve attitude in Half-Life Alyx was actually the opposite.
Yeah,
they made it so
absolutely was perfect.
They made it so comfortable, like to the point of like being, not dynamic enough. Like the fights. If you play Half-Life 2 VR mod, you can compare how many combine you fight. Like it's intense, right? And in Half-Life Alyx, it's like always 2-3 people, and then it's over.
Yeah, agreed. So, it seems to be the attitude of these developers. I mean, they did something amazing. I still love the game, honestly speaking, after having played it through, and I still want to go back for the parkour and for other things. You're right. So I know it is amazing, but I only know it's amazing because I put myself through the hard labor of going through the game. Yeah. And I don't think many people will actually do that. I know for a fact that lots of people thought the game was over after they have tried all the mini games in the Bone Hub. So this is not a spoiler, people who have not played it yet, right? You get into this kind of Bone Hub where you have different kind of mini games that you can play, like parkours and tech trial and arena mode and so on. And I honestly thought, okay, they could do that for a quest game and end here. As in, okay, that's up to you now to play those games as long as you want and to beat the high scores and stuff. It could have been like this. And I would have thought, okay, then $40 would have been too expensive for that. Then I would have guessed for $20 would be okay, right? But not like this. So, but that is not the end, right? It is not the end. There's a whole different full game waiting for you after that Bone Hub. But I truly don't think people will know.
I'm glad, Sebastian, that you didn't spoil it, because actually Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis, he spoiled it. He told you how to unlock it, and I'm mad at him.
Oh no!
So don't watch Virtual Reality Oasis review, because he spoiled how to unlock these additional levels.
I got it.
You did perfectly, because you said that it's there, but you don't want to spoil the surprise.
And I totally get it. You know what? As a payback to Virtual Reality Oasis, I'm going to beat his score in the parkour game.
You do that, please. For me.
Yeah, for you. Yes, I'll make it very public.
One of the other things that's already started, apparently, because I've seen some clips, are mods for this game. There was a clip of a Super Mario 64 level. Integrated into Bonelab last night.
That is cool.
I saw it on Twitter. So the potential for modding in this game is another thing that's exciting.
Yes.
But the way I look at it is, if that game wasn't there, I wouldn't want to pay $40 to have the option to mod a game, if that makes sense.
Makes
I can
sense.
pay $0 and build a game in Unity or Unreal Engine. So I am glad that at least there's an adventure there, no matter how inaccessible that adventure might be for some people.
It is pretty inaccessible, yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of the reviews, the early reviews, touched on the fact that this is really just the beginning for this game. And I'm already seeing the potential from the modding community of some of the things that they might bring into this game. I'm hoping that it's not just a copyright violating hub in the future. I know Contractors has kind of turned into that with I think they have a Star Wars mod now, and I think there might be a Halo mod and things of that nature, that they're just kind of grafting other universes into that franchise. And I'm hoping that's not what happens with Bonelab. I'd like to see some original work. But it was interesting to see kind of already that there's people making that effort. I don't even know if the tools are out yet to do so.
Yeah, no idea. But I'm
I
also
must
looking
say,
forward to that.
I must say, I'm shocked. Can you guess how many reviews Bonelab has on Steam? If you didn't check,
I have no
Haven't
idea.
checked.
Tell us.
guess how many?
I don't know, like 350?
400, 4,000.
No, 4,000
reviews.
What? On
Yes.
Steam?
On Steam.
Wow.
Yes,
That is crazy. Okay,
It
so they're
is.
doing pretty well then.
yes. They must have sold like 100,000.
Okay, cool.
Maybe. Like
Yeah.
No, that's
more
I'm
than
happy
50.
for them.
Yeah, totally. It has now 77% of 77% of positive reviews. So it's not like some
Okay.
people are not
Well,
entertained.
there's also some issues with actually accessing the game.
Yeah, the OpenXR runtime, something.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't have the OpenXR runtime set correctly, and you're using an index, for example, if you try to use the index controllers, they don't work.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
there's not a specific OpenVR mapping for those controllers, and so you have to make sure that the OpenXR runtime is set correctly. There's directions. I think they've posted them to Twitter now that were in the Stress Level Zero Discord. But a lot of people were having problems with multiple headsets. I use the Index as an example, but Windows Mixed Reality headsets. Another thing to mention is this game does not support Vive wands. So if
At
you have
all?
anything in the
Oh,
Vive
interesting.
ecosystem,
Wow,
probably not a
Interesting.
good idea to buy this game unless you have Index controllers.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's some of those negative reviews are for that reason.
Yeah.
But
Makes
I can
sense.
also see other reasons to put a negative. I'm not saying those are the only reason.
Yeah.
What I also saw was the Quest store had a flood of reviews the minute the game came out, essentially.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
Yeah,
they
they were
have
like
not.
meme reviews.
Yes, exactly. And it was really,
It was like, this game cures cancer. I didn't play
Yeah,
it yet, but I know
or-
it's amazing. 5 stars. I read them.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a crazy hype about it. Really.
It really
yeah.
inflated the 5-star ratings
Yeah.
instantly, because it was literally within 5 minutes of the game coming out. None of these people have actually played it,
Yeah.
and they all put these terrible meme reviews.
I
out
have a
there.
question. Can you even are you allowed to make a review if you didn't play or if you didn't buy the game, or you cannot? Because
No,
I
think
don't know, but I think you have to own the game.
Have
I
to own
don't
the
think
game,
you
yeah.
have to have played it though
okay.
to put a review out there.
And on Steam,
that
it shows
storefront.
you. On Steam, it shows you how many
Yes.
hours the person
Yeah.
writing the review.
That is so cool. I think actually
Yeah, it's
that we
actually
know.
it has two numbers: number of hours played at the time of making this review, and number
Okay.
of played total. It's
Oh,
it's
wow.
great.
This is so useful then.
Yes. And that's why you can laugh when someone gives a game on Steam negative review and they played for 3,000 hours. Those are the
Okay.
funniest reviews. I don't
Yeah.
recommend it. Play 3,000
Someone
hours.
in chat has mentioned that you have to play for 5 minutes.
Okay.
to
Okay,
make
at
a
least.
review,
Yeah.
so-
Okay. That makes
So
sense.
those 5 minutes in reviews were literally they booted the game,
It's
they played
crazy.
for 5 minutes, they made a review.
Wow. So interesting. Yeah, so people do need to play this actually longer to understand what this is about. And I played it so long and I really enjoyed it. Let's talk about the technical aspects of the game. Erik, have you played this on PC VR or on the Quest?
I actually played through the whole thing on Quest first.
Okay.
And then I went back and played on PC VR. I haven't finished PC VR yet. I'm at the point that's kind of like the Matrix hallway. I think you'll know what I'm talking about. Before the avatars.
Yes.
So I'm about halfway through the game at this point on PC VR. And what strikes me is how well this did play on Quest. I didn't feel like I needed to go switch to the PC version instantly.
Wow. Totally agree with this. Totally.
Wow. Because it again, it's an uncomfortable game, but it's just as uncomfortable on PC as it is on Quest.
Is the lack of cable helping?
I think so. I really do. I think having it wireless, having it standalone. Obviously, this game was targeted toward Quest because the controls are very fluid. So it's something that, well, I say that, but unless you understand the controls, they're not very fluid. Like once you get used to what the control scheme is, it works really well.
Erik, sorry to interrupt you. Did you have any performance problems? Because I read Upload VR review and they said that it's like problematic.
So where Upload VR had an issue, I believe, was in the actual Bonelab hub section. You can spawn enemies wherever you want and objects wherever you want.
Yeah.
So if you spawn too many enemies or spawn too many objects, then you can get a performance hit. In the actual campaign game, which is really what I focused on, I didn't really have any performance hits. It's still kind of remarkable to me, though, the level of, like, there's shadows in the Quest version, which you don't usually see a lot of shadows in Quest builds. They're not as rich and as detailed as what you see in the PC VR build, but they're there. So it is definitely a technical marvel.
Maybe they played the earlier version, because sorry that I'm digging into this so much, but I'm reading their review and they say they have a chapter called Performance Woes, right? And they say Bonelab does have some rougher edges, and they say, during my playthrough, I encountered frequent stutters, frame drops, and many moments where it was clear that the headset was struggling to keep up. Many moments. So that's why I'm asking you, because I want to believe you, not them. Yeah. Because
Right.
Well, I wouldn't. I do want to say I wouldn't not believe them that their experience could have totally been different.
If they played the pre-release version, for example, like.
I don't think it was a previous version, because I think they had access around the same time that Sebastian and I did. But different people are susceptible to different things. There's the possibility that there was a frame drop there that I did not recognize.
Or maybe they recorded it.
Same here.
And
that's true.
Could be.
Because the way that I played was just using casting for the first hour, and then I didn't record the whole game. I only played the rest of the game myself.
I want to make a short detour. I want to say that Quest is starting to get amazing, deep, long games. Red Matter 2,
true,
Into the Radius, and now this. This is amazing.
It's really good. So for the people who say, "Oh, there are no games in VR," that's not true. There are really good games. Yeah, good that you, Erik. Good that you streamed the game on Quest, because I wanted to record it with the nice new features of version 44. And then I lost the recordings. It was just it stopped and it was all gone. So I played the first 2 hours for nothing, and then I just went to PC VR. But you know what? Actually, I even enjoyed the Quest version a bit more than playing via Airlink, because the game is kind of dark and there's so much color banding. It was really not enjoyable to play this via Airlink. So actually playing it native on the Quest was better. And I truly would say that this is a marvel, just like you said, to bring this whole game onto the Quest 2 that you can bring anywhere with this amazing physics and that whole sandbox mode and all the different modes. I am amazed by the Quest version.
I
it
think
is
other
amazing.
developers are now mad at Stress Level 0. Like, why did you do this? We cannot say, oh, we can't put it on Quest. Quest is too weak. We cannot do this. No, you cannot do this because you don't have the competence to do it.
Yeah, right. The technical skills to make this happen.
I also wanted to give a huge shout out. They have a cross-buy. You buy it on two versions in the price of one.
Absolutely amazing. So nice. So you just get the Quest version. You can play it on PC VR if you want. Yeah. And just like you want to do it.
You get two games for the price of one. You get like a PC version for $20 and Quest version for $20. And if you buy it on Steam, you pay $40. You have one game.
Yeah, right. So in that scenario, I obviously would buy the Quest version, right? Why not? So. Well done. I also think this cross-buy thing, this is a great concept. Yeah, so Simplex, you did not play Boneworks, right? But you played Bonelab now?
I played Boneworks very briefly, like for half an hour maybe, or an hour. I had a deja vu a bit. Tell me, is this...
Yeah, right.
It sounds really like almost the same game.
Same, yep. In the beginning, at least. Later, no. Yeah. Later, it's totally different. But in the beginning...
change of the characters is incredible from what I saw on the trailers.
Yes, change of characters and also other things that I don't want to spoil, which are cool. I think, in my opinion, like very imaginative, where you feel like, wow, cool. Yeah, you know, Erik, right? So, yeah, it's worth it.
I was very impressed.
It's worth it to go through the pain of getting to this cool.
I think I'll start. I think I play Boneworks first, and then I'll get to this.
Yeah, you can do it. Absolutely. I also very much enjoyed Boneworks, but actually the same with Boneworks. The first 2 hours are also more like a tutorial, right? It's a very long stretch tutorial, and then only it picks up and like a story unfolds, and you have to shoot stuff.
It's weird that didn't change it.
Absolutely weird. But yeah, so honestly, I do believe it would be better if they had made it a bit more accessible for more people, so that more people can enjoy it, rather than to have this kind of hardcore attitude. Okay, here's our stuff. It is amazing. Take it or leave it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I believe lots of people will leave it.
Our way or the highway.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a bit sad.
I think it's okay in a way. Like, I agree with. I want everything to be as accessible to everyone as possible. That's my attitude. But I don't want to detract from the developer's wishes at the same time.
Of course.
If that's
their vision, of course.
Yeah. If the developer wants to take a risk in this market and go all out with one specific direction, more power to them. But I agree that there's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that hate it. And the market's going to dictate whether or not they continue making games like this.
True.
Right. But I do believe that they are successful now.
Boneworks must have been successful enough for them to merit creating the second sequel, right? Although I still think they could have added the blinders. Like, this wouldn't hurt them. This wouldn't compromise their vision, right? I mean, it's not something that compromises their vision. Like,
it's true.
I think we can all agree on that.
I also agree on that. And like, I've played so many games and I did grow my VR legs, but still I got sick by this game, right? Because it's like too much, right? Like, the whole thing is so rubbery, or how to say that? Like, you stretch, it feels like you're moving when you're like climbing something, and obviously you're not moving in real life. So and then just like you said, that roller coaster ride.
Like, if you push a wall, like you are moving from the wall, but it's like, in reality, you're not moving, right? So it's a really weird feeling. Then the world, you feel like you're pushing the world away,
Yeah. Yeah, but on the other hand, also that makes it so amazing, that game. Like, I loved the parkours where I was hanging there and like putting myself to the next part, just like in American Ninja Warrior. Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's one of a kind.
Amazing. I loved it.
There's no other game like that. It's one of a kind.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I will go back to it. So I'm going to try to get Mike's high score on that parkour.
You do that. I'm rooting for you, Sebastian.
Thanks. Yeah. So I must say, in my opinion, it is worth $40, but you have to be like a VR enthusiast that's looking for the next big thing. What is your take on it, Erik?
I think if you want to be tortured for 5 hours,
Yeah.
once you get past the torture, there's a lot of potential there, and I think that's where I would invest that $40. If you like action adventure games, if you like violent games, and if you like escape room puzzles, that's where I would recommend the game. Also, if you're not afraid to get motion sick, because this is absolutely not a game that I would show somebody as a newcomer to VR.
Exactly. Not your first VR game.
Just remember, whenever you start feeling sick, immediately take off the headset, like the pro tip number 1.
Exactly.
And use ginger. Ginger helps, I heard. Also, guys, have you ever heard or played the game Detached? Have you heard of it?
Yes.
It's a Polish game. It's a Polish game.
I haven't played it yet, no. It's good?
Erik knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
He's laughing.
yeah. So Detached is a zero gravity game.
Okay.
You can imagine what happens.
That takes you in directions that you definitely... There's very few people that will not get motion sick from that game.
Yes, exactly. You can start spinning.
Someone in chat called it a vomit sim, and that's kind of what it is. But yeah, I've actually met that developer team, and they took a similar risk. They entered the market with something that they knew was going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people. They had a bunch of playtesters that had problems with it. Yeah. So you know what? This is our game, and they took that stand.
And they are not making VR games anymore,
Unfortunately.
No, they actually did. They made, I think it's called Teledash or something like that. Telefrag.
Yeah, but that was another miss. They completely missed the market. They misread the market. They made a teleport-only game, and arena 1v1 arena shooter with only teleport motion for PC.
Okay, because
gamers
they were so afraid now of people getting sick.
Exactly.
So only teleport after that.
Exactly.
They went from one
it is so funny.
Another,
yes.
And they
so the third try is going to be the hot one.
But they won't make another. Yeah, but they resigned from the. They dropped the mic. They made an RPG game called Game Deck, based on the science fiction writings of a Polish writer. So
yeah, I actually really like Game Deck. It's actually a pretty good game.
Cool. I love it that you heard about it and you like it. It's nice.
Nice.
So,
That's
you just
cool.
proved your chops.
Yeah, he has them. Yeah, so cool. So what is your take, Simplex? Are you going to dig deeper into the game?
Yes.
Or okay.
I must tell you, I have an iron stomach.
Okay.
I have good genes. Like really, from the very beginning, I could always artificial locomotion.
I love it. You have good genes, man. Yeah. I would say the same about me, but I still got motion sick.
We'll see. I mean, I was afraid to try Detached. Because,
okay.
but
yeah. So
it's partly genes, because there are some people who really I know people who feel bad when the camera starts moving in Astrobot. They immediately start feeling nauseous.
Okay.
And I was like, that's crazy. I have really bad luck, because I am this huge fan of VR, and most of my friends, the best friends, are very nauseous in VR. So I cannot advertise it to them.
Yeah, the problem is probably the first experience was a bad one where they got motion sick, and now they're totally connected with it.
Yeah, but I never got motion sick from the start. Even at the beginning, it wasn't like, I have to power it. I have to get used to it. From the beginning, I could do it. Maybe that's why I'm such a fan of VR.
Then probably Bonelab is for you.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up, Simplex, because mentioning Astrobot, when the Oculus CV1 Rift came out, it shipped with one of the free titles was Lucky's Tale, which is another game that's kind of a third-person style platformer. And I played it, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And I gave the headset to my wife, and within 5 minutes, she was like, I'm done. Immediately got sick, super motion sick. So there is something that, even in those third-person games, that people are susceptible to.
Yeah, it's just moving the camera.
Exactly.
They could play. They could play Beat Saber. They could play Super Hot.
But the camera should not move.
Have you played Scavenger Odyssey, the free demo experience from the PlayStation Worlds? It is also horribly vomit-inducing. You are on this ship and you jump. Like even I got a bit sick there. Yeah.
The game that made me the most sick is Sirento VR.
Oh,
Okay. With the ninjas, and you like double jump, and then you do some spins, and yeah,
Okay.
that was crazy.
You didn't play Detached.
I didn't play it. No, I think probably I'm not going to play it then.
No,
Yeah.
But I think they have some comfort options. They actually had comfort
Okay,
options.
at least. Yeah. So Simplex, I think you will enjoy Bonelab because actually I really like the game, and I'm looking forward to go back actually to try that parkour.
And I also wanted
cool.
also just to shout out Red Matter 2. It's an amazing
yes.
game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was made by 4 people.
That is
crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about visuals on the Quest,
yes,
Red Matter and Red Matter 2 have probably
incredible.
the best visuals you'll ever gonna see on a Quest on the current Quest platforms.
Yeah.
It's remarkable the work that they put into that to make it look almost identical to the PC versions. Those games are great.
100% agreed. How could they make this happen on this platform, right on the XR2 platform? It's incredible.
The credits in the game are on one screen. You just the credits and you see credits. I actually talked to the guy. I talked to the developer. We conversed in an email. I think he's called Norman. Amazing guy, and he wrote me very long emails describing how they worked on that. It's amazing. Yeah. So, and I think they're from Netherlands. I think.
Okay.
I'm not
cool.
sure,
yeah. And
European, definitely. European.
It's definitely cool to have so many long and good games now on mobile platform, right, on the Quest. So I haven't tried Into the Radius yet. So is it something that you guys have played?
I played a bit. Did you play, Erik?
I played a little bit on the PC version. I have not yet played the Quest version. I've seen mixed reviews on the Quest version, but it is definitely a game that has a lot of depth. There's a lot of options. It's mostly, I believe, a survival game.
Yeah.
So you have to craft, and you have to harvest, and you have to expand and modify.
You have options. You can you can make it very easy. You can almost remove hunger. I love it. It has accessibility options. If you don't want to grind, because it can be really harrowing, a really grindy, difficult game. Sebastian, this is a game. I think I told about it. I think that time I was on the show, I actually talked about Into the Radius. This is the game where you have a clip. And if you empty the clip, you have to keep the magazine because you can put the bullets back into the clip.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about this too. So for me, I'm not so much into grinding games. But who knows? I had to grind as well in Bonelab, so probably I will totally enjoy it now.
Right, because the atmosphere of this game is amazing, like Stalker. It's
it is.
You can set the difficulty to make the grind part really trivial. So that's great. I think.
So, okay, cool. That's something I need to try out for sure. Yeah, so Bonelab is out. Check it out. I like it, but it's not for everyone. Just like Erik said, there's lots of hurdles. Probably it's not for everyone, but for hardcore VR enthusiasts with an iron stomach, yes, go for it. You're going to have fun. And also, I think for creators, I think you could become a full-time Bonelab creator, putting out stuff on TikTok and on YouTube, and probably make a living if you are really funny.
I think the other aspect is if you have ability to mod things, like if you have that creativity and if you have that skill set,
great.
You could set yourself up to build your own. Back in the day, people used to do this with Halo and other games where they called it machinima, right? Where you could actually go in and you can make your own scripts, and you can go in and kind of tell stories within those game worlds. And I think this is one of those games that has the potential for that. Obviously, it's not going to be something that everyone can pick up and do that with yet. But I think modders might bring those tools to the forefront. And I think right now, it's a single player game, but they've made a mod for Boneworks that allows for multiplayer. So there's also the potential there that you might be able to play multiplayer in the future in Bonelab as well, if that's something that they can port over.
Right. So lots of exciting stuff to probably come out of this. Yeah, so now let's go to our next topic. Let's start with hardware. And I love hardware, love to talk about it. So we got interesting news from Pimax. Yes. So we heard that this year actually is launching really soon. This is the Pimax Crystal, and it's the first standalone headset from Pimax. But it's not just standalone. You can also hook it up to your PC by Wi-Fi or by a cable. And, well, it has exchangeable lenses. They are very proud of this, and they're very proud of their very high PPD. So this is going to be a super clear headset with a 2880 by 2880 displays, no, two of them, QLED, and no, it's a mini LED, right, and LCD panel. So clear aspheric lenses, and also automatic IPD adjustment, and lots of exciting stuff. And for a price of $1,900, which makes this actually cheaper than the Vario Aero, which it seems like is going to compete against. And you don't need to buy any base stations, since this is running on the XR2 platform, where inside-out tracking is kind of built into the reference model. So this is good. And this is, in my opinion, a very exciting value proposition for enthusiasts like us. They wanted to launch this in Q3, and they successfully launched that on the last day of Q3 in China. And now it's going to come to the worldwide launch on 14th of October. Exciting, really exciting, and I'm looking forward to try this out. I want to ask you, Simplex, what are your thoughts about the Pimax Crystal? Is it a headset that excites you or that interests you?
Okay, yes.
What's funny about it?
Because I want just to say, no, it's too expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. There's no question about it.
It's too expensive for me, but I'm glad that they are pushing the boundary,
Right.
Because if it's expensive now, in 5 years, it may be like accessible to everyone. So it's like a glimpse of the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Vario, I love that those headsets exist, but for me, a headset above €1,000 has not a place on the market.
It is really for niche, right? For the super enthusiasts, for the simmers who just need this kind of high resolution. That's for sure. Erik, what are your thoughts about the Crystal?
I want to try it first.
Okay.
I think Pimax has a
reputation.
Yeah, it's not. I don't even want to call it a reputation. They have a spotty track record in the past, from the 4K series to the 5K and 8K, and beyond. And I think I'm glad that they continue to experiment in the market, but sometimes what they've actually put out as a product is experimental still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that this is part of that positive part of their reputation, as opposed to the not so positive, needs a lot of work part. I think that it's exciting that they've stayed in the market. I think this is their 7th anniversary at the current time.
Exactly.
So, and I've met most of the team. When I met Robin for the first time, Robin Wang, who was, I believe, the founder of the company, it felt like meeting Palmer Luckey, because he is definitely a visionary. He is definitely someone that wants to see innovation within the VR marketplace. But sometimes that innovation comes at a price. You might have distortion. You might have lack of compatibility. There's been tons of things, micro stutter, things of that nature that make Pimax headsets a little bit harder to work with than some of the other headsets. So while you've got that larger FOV, while you've got potentially more pixels on the display and things of that nature, sharper image, it comes at a price. And what I'm hoping is that this particular series eliminates those barriers. And I know that they've been working extremely hard to get this out. So I'm hoping. I don't think, Sebastian, you haven't tried the Crystal series yet, right?
I have not. I want to.
Right.
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to make it happen, but I haven't tried
So
it.
yeah, I'm looking forward to people actually getting in the headsets and trying them. I would not buy it before that happens. Is essentially where I'm going with it.
That makes sense.
I root for them, and I actually had a
same here.
I actually had
me
a
too.
Pimax 5K. I had a 5K. I backed it on Kickstarter, and I got it after.
too.
Like, you know.
Yeah,
And
I have one too.
It was quite good. I eventually sold it because I found a buyer who paid me more than I paid, you know, on the Kickstarter. So I actually
that's
profited from it.
Yeah.
But I want them to. But have you seen this tweet from? I think it was Mike from the virtual reality. Again, Mike. He tweeted a picture of the sword controller, the Pimax sword controller, and he said, "This is the worst. Like, congratulations, Pimax, for making the worst VR controller like on Earth." Like.
But I have to agree with him, right? Because it had only the touchpad, I think, and like one
they
button.
They canceled the version with
the.
This is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It actually, I believe, has less buttons than the Vive ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
So that is a bit strange. Yeah. Anyways, still, even though funny things like this happen for some reasons, I still also must give them credit for getting much better at lots of things.
Absolutely.
The Pi tool is not bad. It's actually really not bad. They have this cool Pimax experience where in VR you can set everything up, and it's not as complicated as it was in the beginning. Actually, to set up a Pimax now, a Pimax 8KX, it is very simple. And the new Pimax 8KX that I have here also in the studio, actually, it is great. It can do 120 hertz. It has high resolution. It has wide FOV. The distortions are way better than in the beginning. Like the first iteration that I had of the 8KX, it was crap. But now the one that I have, it's really good. So actually, I know, I agree with you, Erik. They have worked really hard on that new platform, right, on the reality series. I have high hopes for it. Because what I also like about the Crystal is that this time they're not going for that super huge FOV. They're going for something that is a bit bigger than Index. And Index is already nice, right? But a bit bigger and a high PPD. So, yeah, I have the feeling that this could be a headset that I enjoy a lot. Since it won't have so many distortions, it will have the aspheric lenses. So it means like it's super clear. There's no God rays. And also, when it's true what they say that there's no distortions and the high PPD, high resolution, yes, this is a headset that excites me, that honestly excites me. And I totally root for them. And I do believe that Pimax could make a dent into this whole industry, at least at the very high end. So I really want them to succeed. And what I really also like about it, just like Erik said, okay, want to try it first before buy it. That makes so much sense. And they are doing it. They are organizing like a huge road show in the States first, where they go to like, I think 8 cities. So for sure, the big cities, they will be there. So Erik, I'm sure they will be in San Francisco. So it's going to be amazing for you to check it out, to put that device on your head and judge for yourself if they made that transition to a headset that you could recommend. And then after they are in the States, they're going to go to Europe. They're going to go to Germany, France, I think, Netherlands, Spain even, and put the headset on people's heads. And I think that's exactly the right thing to do, to counter these bad reputation problems that they are dealing with. I'm rooting for them. I want the Crystal to be amazing. I know it is out of many people's price range that they are comfortable with, but for those who are willing to pay $2,500 for a Vario Aero without controllers and base stations, this might be a very exciting option.
What is the tracking? Inside out?
It's
camera?
inside out.
Cool.
It's inside out with 4 cameras, just like the Pico 4.
The controllers look nice.
The controllers look totally fine, just like standard Quest
just
controllers.
Check the number of buttons. Check for buttons.
Right. No, it seems to be just some knockoff touch controller, and there's nothing wrong about it, in my opinion.
I like the fact they didn't go crazy with the FOV because it's distortion. It's less PPD, more hardware requirement. I actually think, honestly, that Vive, if I had Vive FOV, is really like good enough. It's really good. It's almost like you don't. Yeah, no, of course, the more the better.
The
But I
original
think,
Vive, yeah?
yeah, sorry, I meant the index. I meant the index.
The index. Okay.
Sorry, index.
Yeah.
The original Vive had good FOV if you had this 1 centimeter, like 1 millimeter. You remember you could buy those.
Just put the lenses as close to your eyes as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, Valve index. Sorry,
Valve
has
index.
good FOV, really good FOV.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I agree. So this even a bit more with high resolution and stuff, and could even use it wirelessly with the PC if you want to. But probably we want to put the high resolution there, so we're going to use the DisplayPort cable. Yeah, give it to me, Pimax. So
if you have it, I'll visit you, Sebastian.
Okay, let's do it. I would love to host you here. It would be
I
great
will.
if you come over.
If it wasn't for this, this whole crisis with flights, I would be already.
Okay, but actually, you have a direct connection, Dortmund and Krakow. So
really? Okay.
Yeah, with Wizz Air, it costs like $20, so you can come over.
Okay, I will.
Yes. Yeah, cool. So Pimax Crystal would love to know what the chat thinks about it, and if you are excited about it, if you want to visit the road show in the States or in Europe, do let us know here in the chat and also in the comment section. So I think it's great that actually the hardware is ready and that they're coming out with it now. I'm always excited about new hardware, as you know, so that's something that I'm looking forward to check out for you. Roger Fed asks, what is the suggested price for the Crystal? It's $1,900. So it's not cheap. It's the high end. It competes with the Vario Aero. Yeah, so let's go to the next topic here. And the next topic is a very exciting one.
What are those glasses? What are those VR glasses on your on the head?
On the head?
On this black head you have. Next to you.
This is the Ready Player One headset. I got it here. Yeah, we will talk about this very soon. But
I thought you meant now. That's why I wanted to
No, not now.
Sorry.
First we have to talk about this here.
Okay.
Yes, Bradley has leaked something again, and this is like a very juicy leak. It's the Quest 3. And honestly speaking, those CAD files, I do believe that they are going to be true, that this is a real, true leak, because they look very similar in terms of the CAD files, just like the Cambria leaks, and turned out the Cambria is a real thing, as in the actual device that was leaked in that hotel leak. It looked exactly like the CAD files. So the probability that these pictures now are also like legit is very high. First of all, let's talk about this. Do you also think that this is going to be the Quest 3, Erik?
I think there are 4 headsets that were in development at the same time, and that leaked a while back. And this hypothetically could be one of those 4 devices. Now, is this the Quest 3? Maybe. Is there going to be a Quest 3 in 6 to 9 months? Maybe. That part is uncertain. But I do think that this absolutely could be legit. I don't distrust Brad or whatever his sources are. But I will say, in addition to the Cambria headset, there were some. I don't want to say announcements because I don't think Meta ever made any announcements. But there was industry buzz around there being 4 different headsets that were in development. And this absolutely, I think he calls it the Stinson, which lines up with all of Meta's headsets, and I hate saying Meta, but all of the Oculus headsets that became Meta headsets have had code names that were based on actual locations in California. So Stinson is a legit code name for a headset. So everything lines up. But is this definitely going to be the Quest 3? I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure that it's going to come out in 9 months or a year either, because also in the news this week has been Meta potentially starting to lay people off.
Exactly, yeah.
From a financial perspective.
It's not looking so good for them.
You don't want to do a giant hardware release and have a lot of money tied into something if what you've got currently is still working.
That makes so much sense. However, of course, also it gets a bit tough for Meta with the Pico 4 on the market, right? We're going to talk about this more later, but yeah, the Quest 2 against the Pico 4, it looks very old and it's stale. So not having something to compete against this, it is also some risk. So they should probably not wait for 9 months to come out with the successor.
I agree with Sebastian, and I think Pico 4 puts Quest 2 to shame. Quest 2 is 2 years old at this point.
Yeah.
And I almost
still a great headset, but
yeah, I almost certain. Well, it's just my prediction, but I think they will, if Meta wants to still be in the game, they will release a new headset, a new Quest successor. And I think if Bradley says it's gonna be Quest 3, I believe him because he has really good sources. He's trustworthy. At least, I mean, I believe that at this point, Meta plans to release this headset as Quest 3 next year. But plans can change, like right? So it may change. So that's what I think.
I think that at this point, it's uncertain. Is what I would say. Mm-hmm. I would say everything about this does seem to be what I would say feels legitimate. But I wouldn't say, oh, I'm not going to buy a Quest 2 because I'm going to wait for the Quest 3 now, because we have no idea if this is going to exist yet.
True.
Agreed.
But also, remember that Sony will have PSVR 2.
Oh yeah.
So that's another.
Yeah, the PSVR future is bright for us. The VR future is good for us fans.
I think PSVR 2 really is its own market, though. I think standalone market is separate from PSVR 2.
Agreed.
At this point, standalone and PC may not be all that separate because all of the standalone headsets, thanks to Guy in chat, have access to wirelessly connect to PCs or tether to PCs in most cases. So I feel like the PSVR market is its own thing. Excited for it, for sure, but it's different from. I don't think it hurts sales for other competitors. I'm saying other competitors, but saying that they don't necessarily compete at the same time in the marketplace. So I think Pico, I think Meta, I think Vive to an extent, all of the other headsets that are going to be coming, they will be the competition for each other, potentially. Whereas PSVR 2 is its own entity along the side of that sometimes may even support that.
Yeah, but I mean, what I think that from a perspective of hardcore gamer myself, I think that PSVR 2 may lure gamers who want best like exclusive AAA games, high budget games, something which is sorely lacking, on standalone platforms. It's slowly changing now, but still, like PCVR doesn't have AAA games because Valve only made one game and Meta stopped financing PC games. So for people who want to play deep, high budget, eye candy VR games, they will have PSVR 2, right? I mean, so it may lure some people, like siphon off some people. To gamers.
I haven't seen a full library for PSVR 2 yet, but I will say there's a lot of games that have been in development since as far back as the early DK1, DK2 era that are finally about to come out in the next year or two.
That took a long time then.
I think that PC VR market and standalone are going to have a lot of meat on the table, if you will, in the next couple of years as well. I don't think anything's going away. I think it's just going to get better.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I would like to say thanks to Backsorn VR, who says, "When do I get Pico 4 in the US? Lol." Yeah, well, at the moment not, but on the long run, I believe somehow it should arrive there. It is a huge market, so yeah, who knows? Yep. Anyways, let's talk about this Quest 3 leak. Let's talk about the actual device, what we see here. So we see a device that like eerily reminds me of the Quest 2. It looks very similar in my opinion, but it is a bit smaller. The form factor is a bit better. But what it also has is the soft strap. So it seems like honestly speaking, I think it's the whole thing with the soft strap is a genius idea of Meta, right? So for those who are happy with the strap, they have it. For example, if you want to lie down, you can use it, right? It's actually it's not so bad. But then for those who want something better, okay, we're going to sell you a better strap. So it's basically in terms of marketing and making money, it's genius, right? What do you think, Erik?
I agree. The first standalone that Oculus shipped was the Go, right? And that had a soft strap.
Right.
And I will say, I used it. I would watch content laying back because it didn't have that barrier behind it.
Exactly. Like you can't do this here.
And
cannot.
Exactly. So I don't think it's a terrible thing that they continue to do that in the box.
Actually,
now,
it's true.
If you wanted to have two options in the box, I know Pico, for example, I think they have two different facial interfaces in the box.
But not included.
Right?
No, just
no.
One.
Okay, so never mind in that perspective. But the addition of having those options, whether it be first party or third party, really adds value. From the accessories side, and I'd rather have the ability to have. I don't want to say modular completely because it's like you can't swap out the lenses like you can with the Pimax and things of that nature, but at least having the ability to make that headset your own by making choices. So you've got the default configuration that ships to you, and then you can make changes that meet your needs and meet your comfort. Exactly.
Look at this. This is my Quest 2, which I honestly really love. And I put the Bobo VR M2 Plus, and it has this amazing thing where you can simply hello, this is now industry standard, right?
Yeah.
I always have energy now. I simply exchange this, boom, I have energy.
And if you need more, you just buy the little box. It's a little out of focus.
Exactly. So this is so good, right? So honestly, as much as I personally don't like the strap, I think it's a genius idea.
Yep. So have it like modular. My Franken Quest.
This is yeah. This is the Franken Quest. Yeah, it's great. It has the Franken Quest is amazing as well.
Plus, I have this huge
power bank. Yeah,
yep, it works.
Yeah, so actually, this is truly not too bad to have it like this. Also, this means they can make it cheaper for the initial price, just like the Quest. It was $350, right, or $299 in the beginning. It makes so much sense. So, but we have to talk about some other specs. We have 2 cameras for 6-off tracking of the headset. Makes sense. So I do believe that we're going to get the other controllers, the controllers from the Quest Pro. Would you agree? It makes sense, right? Yeah. So they can track themselves. Therefore, you don't need the 4 cameras on the device itself. Makes sense. Then we have a 4-camera array in the front, 2 black and white, 2 RGB, and the depth sensor for most probably the most amazing pass-through that I've ever seen. The pass-through of this, the RGB pass-through, is really cool. Like, I was blown away. But it lacks 3D, right? It's only one camera here, so it's okay.
Right.
They try something probably with the others. There is some 3D, but it's not convincing in my opinion. So I'm pretty sure the Quest Pro and the Quest 3, the pass-through is going to blow us away. What do you guys do? You agree with this?
I agree. And also, even Bradley was saying that it's a mixed reality device. It's not a virtual reality device. It's a mixed reality device. They focus on mixed reality. They even forego the eye tracking, which is really surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising. That really surprised me the most of it. So
I think though, if you look at the consumer market, there are already people that are suspicious of eye tracking. Like, what data are they going to take from me and things of that nature. So when you're trying to make a mass market device, it might be a smart idea to keep that feature out, not just for a cost-cutting measure, but also for that sense of personal security, particularly with a company like Meta.
Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe that's why they do it, because they know people don't trust them, and they want
Exactly.
to show good faith.
They
Right.
have watched MRTV.
Because like
So,
people
no.
are so excited that PSVR 2 will have eye tracking, right?
Yeah.
Because
That's
they
the
trust
thing.
the company.
That's exactly for Sony. I have no issues whatsoever that they know that we are where I'm looking at. But for Meta, yeah, you're right, guys. You're right. I would feel not so comfortable with them watching me.
I would say though, even with Meta, I'm 100% certain I have not seen. Caveat: I've not seen a Cambria device. I hopefully will see one in the next month or so.
You must
But
tell us all about it.
I absolutely. But before that, I suspect that all of those features will be things that you can turn on and off in headset, because there is definitely a sensitivity within their company at this point to make sure that people feel confident and comfortable
I like
using
it.
their devices.
I even remember that
I like it.
Facebook blocked at one point access of developers to the camera in Quest, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was surprising, but I agree with you. Probably they do think about these sensitivities around privacy with Facebook and Meta. So I like that, honestly speaking. But also, of course, I see it's a missed opportunity for the next generation of devices, and I do believe that the Pico 5 will most probably have eye tracking built in order to use forwarded rendering, just like the PSVR 2, right? Because it's also going to be a mobile chip again for the next device for sure. So yeah, it is fragmenting the market at one point. There will be devices with eye tracking, like the PSVR 2 and the next generation of Pico, most probably, I believe. And then there is going to be the Quest Pros, the Pro series, which has eye tracking, and there will be the standard Quest headsets like Quest 2 and Quest 3, which won't have eye tracking, most probably. So there is going to be some kind of fragmentation. Do you think this is going to be a problem, Erik?
I think that Quest Pro, I can't even say it's called Quest Pro because it hasn't been announced yet. I don't know that for sure. But whatever the Cambria series becomes, will definitely have some differential between what is targeted for that device versus what's targeted for the standard Quest series. But do I think the experience will be similar or the same on those devices? Probably, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're playing games, there's a likelihood that the Quest series is still probably going to be the series that's most consumer affordable and accessible. And developers, similar to for App Lab right now, you still have to target the original Quest and Quest 2.
Still?
You still have
Oh my
to do
God.
that. So that game World Flight that I was talking about earlier, the reason why it feels kind of early in stages is because they probably had to cut down their own performance to make that run on a Quest device.
Okay.
So once you remove that barrier and say, okay, it's Quest 2 only, or Quest 2 and future devices only, or I'm sure at some point in the future, a year or two down the path after the Quest 3 releases, maybe it becomes you target just Quest 3 or what have you. But I think for gaming in particular, that Quest series, as opposed to the Pro or Cambria or whatever it develops into, will probably be where all of the developers target. So I don't think you're going to have, from a gaming perspective, a feature set loss or a parity loss. I think from the perspective of enterprise or from location-based experiences or things of that nature, they may target that more professional series, and you may only get those experiences on those professional headsets, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
And I do think, while you can run standard Quest content on the more professional devices, it's not going to be a requirement to do that. you're not going to be required to upgrade, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
I got it. Do you think there will be games though that will make use of the Quest Pro's features like eye tracking?
I think there will be, but I think
Okay.
if they're making those games, they may be more like tech demos for the Pro Series,
Yeah.
as opposed to full-fledged games, at least in the beginning, unless it's something that's more focused on like a warehouse scale or a location-based experience, things of that nature, because those experiences are the ones where people are going to pay that premium cost for that headset and invest in enterprise use case.
Yeah, that makes totally sense. Absolutely. Like I'm looking forward to check out these controllers, especially if they have force feedback. If it turns out they have force feedback, that is something that I believe will absolutely increase immersion, and that's something that I'm looking forward to.
I'm interested in seeing what their color pass-through is like. The Lynx R1, I know you've tried it. I've tried it as well. I backed it, of course.
Yeah,
I hope it's in the air soon. But
it's gonna come soon.
That device really impressed me in how not just the color pass-through, but also it felt like an actual augmented reality application through pass-through. Whereas using the Quest 2 with pass-through, the way I describe it is it feels like I have a VR application in front of me, but now I can see my messy house in blurry black and white. So I'm hoping that it feels more like augmented reality rather than VR with a pass-through overlay with some of these newer devices.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so this is going to be very exciting. Simplex, what do you think about the Quest 3 series probably not having eye tracking? Do you think it's sad, or how do you feel about it?
I think it's sad, but perhaps they weren't able to put it in and have the same price, because Bradley said that the XR platform doesn't have enough camera sensors designed for them to include it on the same like chip. They have to have a separate chip, and we know we have been having crisis in chips.
Yes.
So I mean, if they want to keep the same price, even the $500 after the increase, I think the lack of eye tracking proves that this is a viable product, that they are thinking of releasing it onto the market, because it will have the price that they want to keep for the consumer device. And I also think releasing Quest 3 would be a great moment to forget about Quest 1. You know, like, okay, we have a new device, now we're just compatible with Quest 2.
It makes so much sense then, really.
Yeah. So
totally agreed.
I think it's all the more reason for them to actually release it. And I think they will feel pressure from Pico, from PSVR in a way.
From everyone.
Yeah, so
and they're not doing good financially now, so they have lots of pressure.
Basically, I think if we don't see Quest 3 next year, something is really bad in Facebook regarding VR. Like they maybe want to get out of this market or something.
I don't think they're going to be leaving the market, but I do think the Quest 3 that we see may be something different than this device.
Okay, let's see. I don't think it's going to be bad, honestly. I think it's a viable headset, and
I agree.
Right. So,
it
has a nice price point. Probably it's not going to be too expensive.
And you know, I've seen some people kind of criticizing it, like, oh, this doesn't seem like a leap forward, but it absolutely is from the Quest 2.
Pancake lenses, right?
Yeah, you've got pancake lenses, color pass-through, stereo color pass-through, which is a feature
and you have IPD control. Let's
adjustment.
Exactly.
Finally.
Yeah. So even if this is the device that launches, I feel like they would have success if they launch this device.
Yeah, if the price is nice.
It's a matter of, do they have the confidence to release another hardware product after releasing a hardware product now, and still keeping and maintaining the hardware product that's already on the market in their current financial state? I don't know.
Yeah, that is going to be the thing that we have to look at. So we didn't hear anything about the displays, but isn't it likely that it's going to have the same Quest Pro displays as in 2160 by 2160?
Resolution, I think Brad again had a earlier leak
when
that,
he said
that
it's going to be one
had
screen and it's
one
changed now.
large screen,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's slightly smaller per eye resolution than
Yeah, but now he said the displays will be
It's-
rotated, so now it cannot
Right.
be one screen.
yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, again, we don't have official specs for what the Cambria or what people are calling Quest Pro, which is probably true.
It's
Device
Quest Pro
has.
because it was on the box. Remember that leak from the hotel room? It was on the box.
I've seen the leak. Yeah.
So why are you calling it Quest Pro? What are you not telling us?
I don't open Christmas presents early. That's
Okay,
what
good.
I
I
can
like
say.
I like it. I like it.
So I feel like the likelihood of this device having something that's different than an earlier leak is possible.
Mhm.
So initial specs wise, again, had a single screen that was slightly lesser than what Brad has indicated the Cambria device would have.
Okay. Yeah, we have
Again,
to wait.
Again, we're depending on Brad for all of this
Brad.
information as opposed to
all
Meta.
of
Bring
his
us
leaks-
more leaks.
all his leaks for Quest Pro Cambria so far panned out.
Yeah.
Sure.
And these specs have been, set in stone years ago.
Yeah, not years,
Yes.
but
Yes, I mean, like at least a
No,
year or more.
it
right?
literally was
Yeah.
a year and a half to 2 years ago at this
Yeah,
point
I
where
think
they
so,
were
Locked it in, right?
yeah, and at this point, like I said, the talk at that time was that there were 4 separate devices that were being worked on concurrently. So we've now seen hypothetically 2 of them.
They might have canceled something too, right? Like they canceled.
Right. And like I
Quest-
said, this device could be one that ends up canceled. I don't know.
True.
yeah.
Like we all remember this supposed Rift Pro, or Rift 2, and we got
Sure.
the Rift S. Remember? That's why this guy
Exactly.
left. What? Forgot his name.
Brendan, I believe, was the one that left
Yeah.
from that time period.
Exactly.
He said like, okay, no, I don't want to have this race to the bottom. He wanted to run up the hill. Yeah. Anyways, Quest 3, exciting to find out what it's going to be like. But first, we're going to find out about Quest Pro, or however they're going to name it.
I must say I'm completely not excited for that. I don't know why it just doesn't excite me. It's expensive for enterprises.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
And I think you have the right attitude, Simplex, to be perfectly honest. I don't think this is a device, from what I've seen so far, that I'm going to say, oh, buy this instead of a Pico 4 or buy this instead of a Quest 2.
Yeah.
Because it seems to not be a design that is really catered to us.
Exactly.
as individual markets.
Exactly. I think it's a release for enterprises, for meetings. You want to meet people in this Horizon workrooms, right? And you will see their face, their gestures, their grimace.
Sure.
That's going to be fantastic.
What it's for. Yeah, for this market, amazing, of course.
Yeah, but unfortunately, most of the Quest 2 owners, they hope for the next gaming headset.
Right.
So I do think that if it really turns out to be this enterprise-focused headset, lots of people will be very disappointed.
Yes.
So
I think that game journalists who do clickbait content, they are hyping up this Quest Pro like, is the Quest 2 successor is coming?
yeah, no,
No.
No, it's not.
no, it's not coming. Yeah, but this leak didn't help as well, right? Calling it, if it's really called Quest Pro, I will understand that people will misunderstand it and think like, hey, I love my Quest 2, of course I want a Quest Pro. Right?
But Quest
So
Pro
if that
for
naming is really true,
professionals. I think the name is good because it's for professionals. Are you a
Yeah, but-
professional? You're not. It's not for you.
I think the price is going to make it for professionals.
yeah,
Sorry?
okay, if the
I
price
think
is going
the
to make
price
it
will make
yeah.
it for
Exactly.
professionals.
The price the price will drive people away. Who will buy a $1.5K dollars headset? Who? Tell
Yeah.
me. And for this price,
there's
the
people who
specs are
buy a
not that
Vario
good.
Aero for $2,500. It doesn't have controllers.
I agree, but I think Vario Aero is a much better technically. It has much better specs, right? Than that. It doesn't even have like what's the resolution? Like it's for this price, all the money, all the cost went into those trackers, the face tracker and the eye tracker. That's it. And
Yeah.
the like the resolution, it's like G2, I think, right?
Yes.
So what 1.5K for G2 resolution?
Yeah,
Is
but
this
you
is
get
a
much
joke?
more. It's
What?
it's a standalone. You have this
Okay.
perfect color pass through. Most likely, you get the much better controllers that can track themselves. So yeah, it's a huge upgrade compared to G2, in my opinion.
Yes,
So
I agree. But like, what do you use what do you need the pass-through for, right?
well, I would probably use it for some exciting stuff like Immersed. You know the Immersed app
Yeah, I
where you
heard
can
about it.
see
Yeah.
it's great. You can see your monitors in VR, and it already worked well in the Quest 2, right? And they have this pass-through mode where you have this virtual monitors, and well, you see the world around you in black white in the Quest 2, but that in the Quest Pro or whatever it's going to be called, yes. I do believe I could work like this.
Yes,
Yeah,
but this
and
is
I
again
think it's also going to be good for people that do 3D artwork, for example.
yeah, but again,
Um,
it's all professionals. You work,
Yeah.
you do work. It's all we're talking about is work. However, I would love those controllers to be available for Quest 2. There's a rumor they will be compatible. I would buy them,
Yeah,
right?
that would be good. That rumor, I also heard it. I heard it's going to cost $300.
I'd still pay that money for them.
Yeah, but then of course
then
you
you're
need the
buying
games who support
basically
it.
2 headsets
Yeah.
cost for controllers, essentially. Because you're
I mean-
paying for the headset and then you're paying for the controllers.
No, I mean
Yeah.
I just buy the controllers for my Quest. Those
For
controllers,
Right.
Quest
100
2, yeah.
bucks.
But from a newcomer to VR perspective, buying a headset that's, let's say, $399 US, and then spending another $300 US
Yeah, it's stupid, of
for
course.
controllers.
But I'm talking like a me enthusiast,
Yeah.
you know. I
Sure.
wouldn't recommend to anyone to do that, right? But yeah. maybe they make a bundle like Quest 2, with the better controllers.
That would be cool.
Right.
It's Spike, he asked, what's so good about the controllers? Well, the controllers track themselves now. They have cameras built in, so they're not dependent anymore on the cameras of the headset. And they have their own cameras, and therefore they can track themselves in space, which makes the tracking even better. So you can track them behind your back
Exactly.
and all this kind of cool things.
No occlusion. It's like
No occlusion.
It's like the lighthouses almost, right?
It's
better.
really cool. Also,
So
they're supposed to have like
I'm seeing
force feedback.
multiple comments. I know we haven't moved on to Pico 4 yet, but multiple
will do that
comments
very
about
soon. Yeah.
purchasing Pico 4 in US. There's actually one of the shops directly from the PicoXR.com website will sell in US dollars, avoid adding the VAT charges. They actually charge sales tax individually based off of your region in the United States, and they are shipping to the United States in US dollars. So I see people saying you can buy from AliExpress, you can buy from all of these other places. I would recommend going through that PicoXR.com website, click around the 4 different shops. One of those shops is available. It will come up and say we sell in US dollars, or wait a little while. There's always the possibility it comes to the market and it might be a lesser cost when it comes to the United States as well.
Isn't
I
Pico
believe
the
so.
official shop?
I believe you should. I believe probably waiting is better, because what if you cannot really access the store? What
Right.
if the store is different? What if
So the only way
right.
to access the store currently is if you have the ability to sideload the application in the United States and Canada.
Okay,
Wow.
okay.
Because in the United States and Canada, if you try to load the Pico VR assistant application, it will come up and say it's not available in your country. So
All right.
if you are
I see.
importing early, the only way to access buying games and activating the headset, I believe, again, I don't have one in my possession yet, is to sideload that application onto your Android or iOS device.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about the Pico 4. It is the big launch from Pico, company that is owned by ByteDance, Chinese company that owns TikTok. So there's lots of money involved and lots of social power, honestly speaking. They can market this using TikTok to
And spying.
so many people. Of course, we should also talk about this. That's for sure. I talked a lot about the privacy issues with Meta. I will also talk about the privacy issues with ByteDance and TikTok. That's for sure. So, anyways, TikTok no. Pico 4, here it is. Let me show it to you. I received this yesterday and it's launching here in Europe really soon, middle of October. And this is how it looks like. It is a very, I would even say sexy headset. I would love this in 5 years' time. But right now, it is really cool. It is a much smaller design than the Quest 2. Actually, lots of this is actually the face gasket. The device itself is even much smaller, and that's thanks to the pancake lenses. Let me show them to you.
If you take off the gasket, it's crazy.
Yeah, I will do that. Yes, exactly. The pancake lenses are huge. They are really big. They are really, really big. And that's why you will get a better FOV as well. So let me take off this magnetic face gasket here.
This is crazy.
So this is what you have. You see it, right? It's a really, really small design, and it's interesting to see where VR has gone. It's crazy. It is truly crazy, and I'm happy that we go all of this long way together. We are all VR enthusiasts, right? We started with huge headsets, but now the headsets are getting smaller and smaller and better and better. Yeah, this
almost, right?
It's we're getting now to the ski mask kind of form factor. The exciting thing about this headset is it has next generation specs with 2 high resolution displays, 2160 by 2160. We have a motorized IPD, real IPD adjustment.
High-end feature. I was surprised.
Really high-end features. It feels incredibly well made. Like the build quality, it just screams high quality. It's
cheaper than Quest.
and it is cheaper than Quest. 429 euros here in Europe and 379 pounds in the UK. So it is absolutely crazy what kind of launch they are having here in Europe and how aggressively they're going to market, undercutting the already good price of the Quest 2. And the thing is, it is not just about a piece of hardware. No, the whole launch is super professional. I liked their launch presentation, and in this launch presentation, it was not just about, hey, our hardware is so good, like things that we unfortunately often hear from Pimax. No, they have like a whole vision of their ecosystem.
They said almost nothing about hardware. I was like, surprised.
A bit, yes. But they have so many thoughts about their ecosystem, like their new operating system. It looks like this, like you see it right now. It's very beautiful. Then their store, it is getting fuller every single day. So very soon you will not be able to see a huge difference between the Pico 4 store and the Meta Quest store. It is absolutely noteworthy. They have done a fantastic job on getting the developers on board. And that's something that I said here on the channel for quite some time. It's a no-brainer for developers who are not owned by Meta to go to Pico store as well, because they get us new customers in the West. But on top of that, they get all the customers in China that they will not get on the Meta platform because Meta is not existent in China. So it is an absolute no-brainer for developers. Do you want money? Yes or no? It is really so simple. So therefore, the store is also going to get bigger and bigger. And the headset, now that I have it, and I could check it out, it is remarkable. It is absolutely remarkable. I had the chance at Gamescom to try it for half an hour, right? But now I could spend much more time with the headset. And I made a video about it, 30 minutes, watch it, everything is in there, but I can like summarize everything that I said there into one sentence. It is an amazing headset that blows away the Quest 2 easily. Of course, right? Because this is a new headset and the Quest 2 is already 2 years old. So, of course, this is blowing it away. And they're doing everything absolutely right with this headset. It is balanced, it's super light. The battery is in the back. The games, the standalone games look great. You have that real RPD adjustment. The controllers are even more exciting than the Quest ones because of that ring, the position of the ring. It is made in such a way so that the rings don't touch each other when the controllers are close to each other, right? I told you that in my video. So everything lines up beautifully. It is a very wholesome, nice package for only 429 euros. And honestly, if somebody asks me, hey, should I get a Pico or should I get a Quest 2? My recommendation now is the Pico 4, simply because the headset is so much better than the Quest 2, and the store is nearly identical. So yes, some exclusive games you will not get, like Beat Saber or Population 1, right? But most of the others you will get, and there will also be exclusive games on the Pico 4. So that is exciting. But I was not so excited before about it. So I was looking forward to it, and I thought, okay, this is going to be like my second headset next to my main headset, because I was missing the display port. You know, VR enthusiast.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play all these amazing PC VR experiences with the highest resolution, right? So that was like a letdown. But now I get it, and I try virtual desktop. Gigadon is hopefully still here in the chat, and that was for me the moment that it clicked, and that I fell absolutely in love with it, because virtual desktop on the Pico 4, it works like a charm. It works even better than on the Quest 2, because you have a high resolution now that you can drive. 3168 by 3108 pixels is what is being rendered, and that is being sent wirelessly to this device, and it works like a charm with my 3080. I was playing Half-Life Alyx, which is obviously a very optimized game, but it looked like so incredibly beautiful on these high resolution displays with that pancake lenses and the bigger FOV. So this also has a bigger FOV than the Quest 2. And now playing wirelessly with virtual desktop, wow. So virtual desktop has totally changed the game for my perception of the Pico 4. This is now a viable headset for us PC VR enthusiasts as well. And of course, it is a super viable headset for all the people who don't have a gaming PC and who want to jump into virtual reality. Yep, so I must say, I am pretty blown away by it. What is your perception of the headset? Let's start with Simplex.
Okay, yeah, I watched your video, and I decided to pre-order it. I'm really excited for it because it puts, like, every feature in it is better than Quest 2. I love the pancake lenses, the better FOV. Everything is great. I mean, it's a bit pity there's no this display port.
Yeah, it is.
I really hoped for it a lot.
I hope for it too, but honestly, that ultra mode on virtual desktop is so good.
So what router do you have?
I have a super cheapo Honor 6 50 euro Wi-Fi 6 router.
Nice. Okay,
and it worked perfectly.
That's great to hear. To hear. And I think you even said the audio is better, right?
The audio is way better than on Quest 2.
Wow.
So, yep, like for me, it's good enough for me to use it like this. I don't need headphones.
Okay.
So
maybe that's why they don't have the jack.
Yeah, they thought this exactly. In my opinion, it would have been great to have the 3.5 millimeters headphone jack, but they thought probably, hey,
Sebastian, Facebook should buy this from Pico.
No,
you know what I mean?
They should.
Quest 3.
Exactly, but yeah, obviously ByteDance, they want to claim their own stake, right, in this whole industry, which is going to be huge.
Sure, I'm only worried about the library. I mean, the exclusive games. Facebook was smart to buy,
Of course, it was a smart move.
And they bought Onward, right? You have
Yeah.
Onward. So if if you're into milsim shooters, Facebook has best milsim shooter. They have the best battle royale, Population 1. They have the best
True.
rhythm game, Beat Saber. I think Audica is better, but that's just my opinion.
But the thing is, well, if you really need those games, you can still play them from the PC, right? Thanks
Yes.
to virtual desktop again.
And that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Can you play Oculus games with that?
Yes,
Wow.
that is the crazy thing. You know, with virtual desktop. By the way, I'm not affiliated in any way with virtual desktop. I just love it. So with virtual desktop, you can play all your Rift games without using Revive. So that's the first thing I tried. I tried to play Bonelab, which does not work with Revive, here on this headset using virtual desktop, and it worked. I streamed Bonelab, and it looked fantastic on the Pico 4.
Sebastian, I don't want to be a pessimist. Do you remember when Facebook removed, threatened Guy Godin to remove his virtual desktop from the store from Quest when he enabled
he had
streaming?
Yeah,
right?
I know. I can remember.
So what I'm afraid they will now say to him like this: if you don't remove from Pico the option to stream our games, which Pico doesn't have licenses for and rights for, we will just shut you down. What do you think, Erik?
I don't think they can do that.
I also don't think.
Well, I want you guys to be right. I really do, because I would love to be able to stream Pico, Oculus games from the PC. But I think Facebook will be mad.
But it would be such a backlash. I don't think they could do it. I don't think they can do it.
There was a time where they put a headset check for all of their games, hard-coded so that Revive wouldn't work as well. That lasted about 3 days because of the backlash that they got.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure at this point their store is, well, first of all, I don't know that they're so focused on Rift platform anymore.
They are not at all. Exactly.
They seem to really be more focused on their standalone marketplace.
Maybe it would just be apathy, but other than that,
it could be. Yeah, it could be. But I don't like. Because first of all, virtual desktop is magical.
Yes,
it's the reason I had a Quest to begin with. Was
same here.
Yeah, I mean, just don't think that I'm like, I hope I'm not right, basically, because remember, Facebook never allowed other headsets on the Quest store, because Guy Godin says they earn 30%, so why would they be against it? Okay, so why would they be against connecting Vive or Valve Index or Vive HTC Vive to Oculus Store? They would get 30% for the games. They would get
that's
more.
True, but they cannot make sure that the experience is great. If they only allow their own headsets, they can totally make sure that the experience is fantastic.
Well, they can say the same about Pico. They cannot guarantee you that on Pico you'll have the great experience, right?
Yeah, that's why Guy Godin is his own person, and virtual desktop has nothing to do with Meta.
Yeah, I know.
Meta, right?
But anyways, let's go back to the topic. So Simplex, your thoughts about the Pico 4? Do you think it has a chance on the market? Do you think it can change the market?
I think it's a serious competitor, but they must go on the American market, because now they don't compete with Quest on the market that the Quest is the strongest, right? Because America is the biggest, but in Europe, totally. I think Quest still cannot be sold in Germany, right?
It could, but it could actually. They are not forbidden to do it, but they took it themselves out of the market.
Well, why?
Yeah, we don't know. Probably because they know they would lose, or probably they knew that the German government agencies would have stopped them because they have all the right to do that.
Wouldn't you think that after they decoupled Meta account from?
I think now they could. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, what I hope is that after 11th October, after the Connect or at Connect, they will say, hey, you know what, German market, we're going to come back now with the Quest Pro and the Quest 2. I believe it could happen, honestly. It would be great for everyone here to have another option.
I think Pico really has a chance. They have lots of money behind them, right?
Yeah.
They invested. I heard there are even some kind of developer incentives to put your games. Not only they will just pay you or like somehow roll you. I don't know, help you with those games, like maybe bankroll you or something.
They have made some developer kind of money pool, but it's not much. It was 12 million. So
remember when Facebook had this? Remember?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that kind of sets the Pico device apart is Pico is focused on the 3D video side of things, where it feels like Meta started with that, and then that's kind of fallen to the wayside. They're very focused on 2D video experiences that are social. So I'm excited about the potential of Pico bringing more of that 3D format, maybe whether it's 180 or 360, because I mean I've attended concerts in movie theaters where you put a headset on, that are in 3D, that are very well produced, well done, and none of that appears on the Quest storefront. And I think Pico is very open and encouraging creators to build that type of content. I think there's a fund also for that type of content to be created. So it's not just developers from a programming perspective, but also from a filmmaking perspective that they're reaching out to offer not necessarily monetary support, but support in being added to their platform.
Got it. Very interesting.
And porting to Pico is just so easy because it's the same hardware. It's like
of course, exactly. It's the
trivial.
same platform, XR2 platform, and
same OS, Android.
Exactly, so that should be no problem. Erik, I would like to ask you, what are your thoughts if this would launch in the US? Would this have a chance? Because obviously, I think if I was in the States, I would prefer to buy something from an American company rather than from a Chinese company in general, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this part?
So there's two sides to the coin. There's the people that didn't buy a Quest 2 for whatever reason because of their concerns around Facebook.
You're right. Exactly.
Those same people, honestly, if they have those concerns about Facebook, should be just as concerned, if not more, about ByteDance.
Right. Sure. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
It's my understanding that Pico, has centralized. I've seen them, so I can't say it's my understanding. Pico has centralized offices in the United States. They have an office in California. So whether or not that office is the only place that gets information sent to them for users in the United States, hard to say. But I think, there's still data collection that happens. I will say my experience with the Quest 2 and the Quest, there's not a lot of data that they actually are collecting. That's kind of just the mindset that people think they can collect this data. But those same fears, if you have those concerns today, continue to have those concerns with Pico. What I will say, though, is there are also people that didn't buy the Quest 2 for other reasons. Maybe it was too heavy. Maybe that black and white pass through, because it is extremely blurry, was disorienting to them. Like, there's a lot of features that the Pico 4 brings to the table that weren't there with the Quest 2. And I think, again, if you're hungry for more of that media consumption, I feel like the Go had that, but that kind of fell to the wayside with the Quest series. So if you want to have something that you can watch 3D footage on, or more immersive video experiences, the Pico is probably going to be the best choice. Plus, it's got better resolution.
I also think that PC gamers, PC VR people should be excited. Like, what was the last headset you got excited in the PC space? It was Index in 2019, right? I mean, what was after that? 3 years ago.
Yeah, Reverb D2. I was pretty excited about it.
Okay. But that's VMR, so let's not talk about it. I don't like VMR, so WMR,
Yeah, I know.
It's WMR, so yeah. But you're right.
D2 was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So for the Quest 2, probably also some people could not really use it with a very huge IPD, probably, right?
Exactly.
Because it's only one display.
Yeah, it's only got those 3 settings.
Yeah. So here they can use it. It's lighter. There's good content on it. I personally do believe that Pico has a chance at it, especially because it's now owned by ByteDance. Yeah. And the thing is, ByteDance, they know how to win. It's funny to say it like this, but if you look at TikTok, how they rule the social the social network
And TikTok is a
industry
horrible
now.
social network.
It's interesting actually, yeah. But it's like they're ruling it. They know how to deal with it. They're ruling it even in the States, even though they are a Chinese company, right? So the previous government wanted to ban TikTok with an executive order, but then they have decided to put all their servers to the States, and then this executive order was waived, or how to say that, it was taken away again. So they know how to deal with the US market. They know how to do it. And it's pretty noteworthy that now they have this competitor, and I do believe they have big chances with ByteDance running it, because they know how to win.
It's a horrible dystopia that you have two competitors. It's Facebook and it's ByteDance. Like,
Right.
What's worse?
Yeah. You can still go for Sony though.
Yeah, true.
And I think there is still the concern that they could enter the U.S. market, and then politics could make them not be able to continue to sell in the U.S. market as well,
and in the world, actually, if they do this U.S. ban.
Yeah.
So it's like last.
So it is kind
risky.
of a dangerous market to enter into. So I understand having a bit of hesitation in that. But at the same time, I think it seems to be a quality device. I did the thing that I told people not to do, and I pre-ordered one from Spain.
That's so funny
because I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, that's the best store. I think this is the store Reality VR or something.
I don't want to
Real
plug
VR?
a store, but
don't plug
it
it
is on there. So yeah, if you go to the Pico website, you can find it.
Okay.
Actually, I heard through the grapevine that Pico is not happy with this store doing this.
Oh.
With selling it to U.S. market.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Because
And
who knows, the customer experience is not right.
The same. Exactly.
So,
but either way, I don't want to plug a specific storefront. You can find it, like I said, going to the Pico website. You've got multiple options. Pick the one you think is best for you. But if you are in the U.S. or North American market, it's probably better just to wait this out. Honestly,
I think so too. And until then, you still can use the Quest 2. Even though it's pretty outdated by now. Sorry, the Quest owners. It's still fun.
Once you're inside the game,
then
it doesn't make that much difference.
You're right. Once you're there.
And I feel that way. Like whether you're playing PC or standalone content, Bonelab's a good example. When you get into that game, once you're into it, you're in the game. You're not really focused on that one texture is missing or something of that nature. So I think Quest is still the powerhouse as far as that's concerned today. I think having Pico, having other alternatives is a great thing though, because then you're going to see more competition. You're going to see people paying attention to what software is being distributed on which platform and things of that nature. And it might turn into something like what we had for a while with Nintendo and Sega, or what we had for a while with Xbox and PlayStation, where that competition stacks what comes to each platform and makes everything better. So I think, having more players in the market absolutely does that. Sure. And whether that's in part of the market where it's just Europe or global, it's still going to have a shakeup right there.
Yeah, I think Facebook will be now more motivated to improve even further their service, their software. And we also must remember that Facebook has 2 years head start. So they have Pico has to, catch them. It's always like when there's a new player, they cannot have immediately all the features that it took Facebook 2 years to develop.
Agreed.
Right?
I wouldn't necessarily call Pico a new player though, because they've had headsets in the marketplace. They've just been very...
Maybe in China.
It was business focused. It was for the West. It was just business.
They've been
focused.
Mostly enterprise focused, but they've tested the waters a bit with some of their Neo series headsets, just with very limited releases. So there are already platform titles. I think there's already probably 300 titles available on the Pico storefront.
They did a great job with that.
So like I can't say that it's that different. From a gameplay experience, like what you can find on the storefront is that different between the two stores, even though there was a perceived head start from the Quest side of things.
But if you look at the interface, didn't you have a feeling that it's a bit ripped off from the Quest? That's that's why not in the US.
You feel so, but honestly, it's not as complicated. Like I do feel that Quest is a bit too complicated now already.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's not complicated, but it's a bit simpler on Pico in my opinion.
When I saw this application to track your calories, it was like one-to-one ripped off. Even the colors were like ripped off.
But the funny thing is, Meta ripped this
off
from your.
I know. Yeah,
I know.
But I would say, that was the one thing about their presentation that kind of made me question things. Was it looked like they were copying Meta?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do necessarily, because what Meta did worked. And I agree with Sebastian. Like if they make it simple, which I've got 3 Pico devices.
Copy Meta, make it better.
Yeah. Well, but I want to see some innovation. I want to see something that's different that sets them apart. And I felt even that Pico Worlds presentation, which again, hypothetical, it's not there yet, but it's like, oh, they have Horizon Worlds, so we need one too.
Why are we in VR and we have flat screens in front of our eyes? Like, this is VR, we should have 3D.
Exactly.
But I must also add something here. They do come up with some new features, as in you can help somebody in VR. You can leave messages for people in VR and point them to the right direction. That is something that we don't have on Quest yet. So it's not all just copycat. And by the way, I must also mention here to all the people out there who say oh, Pico copied the Quest 2 with the Pico Neo 3 Link and such. No. Pico has been around for a long time in virtual reality. They had a standalone headset 1 year before the Oculus Go, which was basically an Oculus Go, right?
Yeah,
so they've been in the game.
I have it right next to me.
You have it there, yeah, amazing, yeah. So it is not true to say, hey, Pico just copied that. They have been in that market even before Meta.
Yes.
So,
I think lots of people heard about Pico when ByteDance bought them.
Right.
Could be, yeah.
And they existed before that.
Right. So it's wrong to say Pico is copying Meta in general.
And Pico and Meta are both using reference designs that come from Qualcomm.
Exactly.
So it's not. No one's copying anyone. They're all
inspired
following
by
the same.
Qualcomm.
Yeah. If they were using a different chipset, maybe, but they're all using that Qualcomm chipset as their brain. So you can only attach a specific number of parts and a specific type of parts to that brain. So yes, they're going to have very similar looks and feels to each other currently, because that's what Qualcomm built as a reference.
Exactly. And at the end of the show, let's just agree that competition is good for us consumers.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
More competition is great for us. It's great that this device comes to the market. People have a choice now, hopefully also in the States at one point in time. So it's good, and it's even good for Meta, because now they are more like checks and balances, to use that political term.
It keeps them honest.
Because if Pico would have been there 2 years ago, Meta would not have done the forced Facebook login, because so many people would have said, you know what, I just go to Pico because I don't like that forced Facebook login. So now having this competitor, it will make Meta even better than they are. So it's just good for all of us.
Yeah.
Yep. I think.
I just wish, if Pico 4 had eye tracking, it would be a perfect device.
Yeah, it's the Pico 4 Pro, which is eye tracking. Yeah, I know. But for this price, I'm totally fine.
Course,
it's a very nice headset, and lots of people will love it.
I am actually really surprised that PlayStation VR won't have pancake lenses. That's really surprising.
Yeah, I was also surprised about this. But let's see how good they are. People seem to be happy with it.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I'm just surprised.
Right, agreed. Yep, so it's 2 hours and 8 minutes. It flew away so fast because we had an amazing discussion. So again, thank you so much, Erik and Simplex, for joining the Next Dimension podcast. Hope you enjoyed it too, and you had a great time.
Great time.
And I'm looking forward to have both of you again here in our podcast. And for all of you who are listening to it now, 223 people are live now. Think about the thumbs up to tell the algorithm that you like this, and even better, leave and leave a comment for the algorithm and to let us know what you thought about today's show, what you think about Pico, and if they have a chance on the market. Also, leave a 5-star review at iTunes, for example. Get out your iPad or your iPhone, find the podcast app, find this podcast and give it a 5-star review. It would be amazing because more people could find that podcast. And that's everything that we got for this week. Looking forward to see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Yeah, great podcast. We're still live for a moment. And yeah, just want to let you know again, I really enjoyed to speak with both of you, Erik and Simplex, and I'm really looking forward to have you again on the show. So many exciting things. It feels like that giant, which is VR, is slowly waking up to hopefully, take what it deserves, like ruling.
Yeah, we waited so many years.
Yeah, right. I mean, all of us have been all of us have been so patient with our passion, no, right?
There's
like
the
for
saying
years.
that first they laugh at you, then they ignore you, and then they join you. So
Right.
So
Agreed.
I do think even with all of these hardware iterations, I think the thing that's really going to be exciting is in the next couple of years when some of these bigger games come out.
Yeah.
It's really for people that are VR game enthusiasts, it's going to be amazing. 2023, 2024 in particular. And what I like is the fact that even if you have older hardware, hopefully most of those titles are still coming to PC, so you can enjoy even if you've got a headset collecting dust right now because you didn't like what was coming out. You'll be able to dig that back out and maybe rekindle that love.
I really hope we'll get more games because of PSVR 2, because people start making games for PSVR 2 and they will naturally come to the PC.
Right.
Even maybe some Sony exclusives, like Uncharted is coming, God of War.
Yeah,
we'll get this Horizon.
Sony's been there. I think it's called the PlayStation PC Initiative. So I recently played Marvel Spider-Man on PC.
Okay, right.
So yeah, it was very cool. A good question. My channel name is literally my name. So if you go to
Erik Hartley.
youtube.com/Erik Hartley, that's me.
And how about you, Simplex?
It's M Kwadrat podcast, but it's Polish. I post some videos, some streams or videos of VR games too, but it's in Polish. So if you don't know Polish, then you won't find much there. Yeah, but I do put some videos of games, so you can watch something. And I have some good plays of Audica tracks on Expert. So if you like that, I'm a huge Audica fan. I'm so
Audica's great.
Audica man, is good. Agreed.
It's so underappreciated gem, and they've abandoned it. I'm so really sad about this.
A bit sad.
I have hope though, because they just released new Rock Band 4 content.
Okay.
Just out of the blue. So I'm like, come on, more Audica DLC.
Yeah,
come on, you can do it.
That would
Thanks,
be
Erik.
so nice.
It's always nice to find a fellow Audica fan.
Like-minded Audica fan.
Oh
right.
yeah, oh man, try Audica. Give it a chance. It has a very hard
it's true. It's good.
learning curve.
It does. Yes.
But when you learn it's so rewarding.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You can get into the flow with the game.
Exactly,
absolutely.
the flow state. No game has put me in a flow state like Audica, really.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's end with this. Thanks so much. All of you are watching this now, and we're going to see each other next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.